This is the time. Why are you sitting on your butt? Get up and get to the bag, girl. Let's go. Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel.
Baby, where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that? Tired of beefing you bums, you can't even pay me enough to react. Been waking up in the crib since I left.
If you're new here, my name is Selina and I'm so glad that you clicked on this video. I am currently a senior nursing student. I'm about to finish this year. Okay, big nurse in the making. But I wanted to come on here and share with you guys how I'm able to afford just living somewhat comfortably while in nursing school. Nursing school is very draining. It takes all of your time. Sometimes you feel like you don't even have time to eat after clinicals. You just be tired. And I really wanted to come out here and put you guys on some jobs that you need to start looking into this summer if you want to get your bag up, get your money stacked up before the next school semester. Now, this video was supposed to be dropped a long time ago. I won't lie, but I'm here now and I'm bringing you guys all the tea, and I am going to be giving you guys a thorough description on what you're going to be doing in these roles. Every single school and program is different, so take that into account with the ones I'm listing, that it may all be different depending where you go, depending where you live, what state you're in, stuff like that, and their certifications and qualifications for things. But I am so happy to bring you guys this video because one thing about me, I've always been a bag chaser. I love money, I love talking about money, and that's really, I feel like, the whole goal for me right now is to make money, spend it well, and learn how to make more money. You know what I mean? Like, the economy we live in, the society we live in, if we're not talking about how to build ourselves up, to building generational wealth, to getting places where we can financially be okay and stable and not constantly checking our bank accounts, then what are we talking about? Okay, I'm so happy to bring you guys this video. If you are interested, keep watching and listening to all the jobs I have listed for you guys. I want to see my girls winning, and I want to see you guys nice and rich. Okay, let's get into it. I have compiled a pretty decent list of a few jobs I feel like every nursing student should look into. Now, if you don't have to work during nursing school, I 100% recommend that you don't, because it is not necessary. Now, for the people that do have to work during nursing school, this is where I come in. This is where this video is going to help you a little bit. So just take that into account. You do not have to be working during nursing school. It's not by force. None of this is by force. I work to sustain myself and I am comfortable doing that. So just a disclaimer, okay? I'm not saying you gotta get your ass off the floor, but you gotta get your ass off the floor at some point. Okay, let's go. Of course, we have our CNA. Everybody knows what a CNA is. If you don't know and you're very new to healthcare, CNA is a certified nursing assistant. This is someone who usually tends to work in nursing homes. I have a big hate for nursing homes because I work in the hospital and I see a lot of patients coming from nursing homes and they don't look too good. But I would say if you are looking to do a CNA, that is a very good start to getting some healthcare experience, to getting a good background into the field. You are going to be pretty much doing a lot of ADLs, which are activities of daily living. You're going to be helping patients bath. You're going to be helping patients feed themselves. You have a lot of more geriatric patients, which are more elderly and more grown, so you'll really be helping them just take care of themselves on a day-to-day basis. The nursing homes call them residents, so you'll really just be working with your residents most of the time. Whatever your nurse needs, they will usually call you to assist, hence the name, nursing assistant. But you're pretty much just attending to residents throughout the day. CNA programs, they could last about a couple months to a year, and it all just varies on which program you're getting into. One program that I was looking into said it would be about 8 months for me to get my certification. I will say that CNAs do get paid pretty well when they do advance into the hospital, because hospitals are looking for other certifications that you have, other qualifications, something that gives you a little bit of a boost compared to your other candidates that you're running against. So they do have a more higher chance of getting hired at hospitals, and they do tend to get paid a little bit more. There are also travel CNAs, which make great money, and is also a great position to get into if you are completely free during the summer. Just go ahead, pick up a little contract and get your bag. So I would say definitely look into CNA if you are someone who is thinking about joining nursing school. And I would say that if you are looking to do CNA program, just be mindful that it is something you will have to study for. It is something that requires clinicals, requires tests. So just be cautious of when you're looking into the program, because I was going to do CNA, but I decided not to because I was so close to getting into my school's nursing program. that it almost seemed like it would contradict by the time I got into nursing school, and I was not about that. Plus, you'd have to pay for the course. I'm already paying for nursing school. It's too much money coming out of my pockets. So I said no to that, but I'm gonna get into what I'm doing now, and I'll tell you guys why I decided to wait and not get my CNA certification. So next we have a phlebotomist. A phlebotomist is someone who pretty much just draws labs, comes in, takes patients' blood draws, and really just sends them off to lab to analyze them and give the nurses updates on lab values and critical things that are happening with the patient. A lot of things that the hospital or your doctor will come to tell you comes from your labs and your blood draws and things like that. I will say, being that I work in the hospital, I see phlebotomy come in almost every 3-4 hours just to do a redraw, just to recheck labs, see what the patient is doing, how their body system is looking, whether the meds are working and stuff like that. Phlebotomy does require schooling. Some are about 4 to 8 months in certification, some are a year. And again, all of these programs vary depending on the school you're going to, the state, the qualifications for that, and all of those things. But they do come and collect lab samples, and they are your one person to call when you need a quick blood draw, because one thing I have realized being in the hospital, these nurses do not like doing anything that is out of their scope, because nurses do a lot that is already not in their job description. So they'll be quick to call phlebotomy to come and get a quick blood draw, okay? But you definitely have to be okay with touching people. In all of these jobs, you have to be okay with dealing with people. Nursing is very forward facing with people. You are in their face, you are asking them questions, very personal questions. You are constantly touching them, assessing them. So you have to be very comfortable to start off with any of these jobs. But you will be collecting blood and analyzing blood. Now, there are people that work in the lab specifically that run the labs and check them and do the microscope examinations. But as a phlebotomist, you are really just running around collecting blood from people. It's not too bad and is fairly a decent job, I would say. You don't have to deal with the patient all day, whereas in CNA, you are constantly in their face with these residents, some of which are aggressive, some are nice. So definitely think about that if you're someone who just likes to go get your task done and get out, okay? So moving into our next position, I have for you guys a PCT. Now, PCT is a patient care technician. I'm currently a PCT, and PCTs and CNAs are very similar. I would say as a PCT, we do about the same things. We assist with activities of daily living. We help with showers, baths, brushing teeth, feeding, clothing patients. So we do pretty much a lot of what CNAs do. But I say you would find PCTs more so in a hospital setting, whereas you would find CNAs in a nursing home setting. As a PCT, there are programs that allow you to gain a certificate. I will go ahead and be honest with you guys. I did not get a certificate. I did not think it was necessary to get a certificate and pay for another course to teach me how to do my job. They're gonna tell you how to do your job on the job. That's why we have orientation. Let's be real. So I did not get a certification for my current position. What I did was I was already in nursing school, and most hospitals will already take you if you are in nursing school and you have completed your first semester of nursing school, which will include your fundamentals of nursing, which really just runs through all the basics that you need to know if you're gonna be working in the hospital. They will show you the ropes, stuff like that. So I did not get a certification for this. These jobs are pretty much very similar in different ways, but they definitely have their own aspects and things that stick out more. I would say as a PCT, this is a great position for someone who is looking to work in the hospital as a nurse. You are right there with the nurses, looking at the patient, assessing them. When admits come in, your nurse is looking for you to grab a blood pressure cuff. Your nurse is looking for you to grab a urinal, a Purewig, whatever they may need. You are their right hand. And I have learned so much in this position. I would say I'm very grateful for the fact that I am just constantly learning, almost to the point where by the time I do become a nurse, it would just be more refreshing and figuring out how the charting system works now that I have this new license versus being completely thrown into it. I highly recommend looking into these jobs as a nursing student, because I have come to notice that when we have new grads on the floor that haven't been in the hospital setting, haven't had any experience, they tend to be a lot more confused and they're constantly asking around about where to get things, what to do, how is this move, how do we do that, how do you do that, can you set this up for me? And they're constantly looking for a tech because they never had the experience, right? So I would definitely say look into these if you are a nursing student. You just don't want to be that nurse that just doesn't know how to set up a simple bedroll to change a patient. Like, it's so embarrassing. Please don't be that nurse, please. 7 p.m. I am feeling this hair, y'all. I really am. Okay. So another job I have for you guys is a hospital secretary / administrative clerk. I put them together because you could really do the same thing on both of these jobs and they have the same job description in my opinion. But this is someone who is going to manage schedules, the date lists on who is present, who is working today, phone calls, pick up call-out calls, organize and manage files in the hospital, on the unit, wherever it may be placed. So admin clerks I have seen in clinics, I have seen even in my doctor's office, I have seen on my own floor in the unit. They are everywhere, okay? They are everywhere. And they also kind of work hand in hand with the registrar because they're constantly trying to figure out who's in what room, what floor are they on, and things like that. These are people that usually just sit at the desk and manage everything on the computer. If you're someone who doesn't like to move around a lot physically and you just don't like to get active, because girl, I understand these 12-hour shifts be having us moving, this would probably be a great position for you. In terms of background and licensing, that I feel like as long as you have some type of background or experience working with computers or any charting system, you should be able to apply one of these jobs. Definitely look into that in whichever place you may be looking to apply, whichever hospital, whichever clinic, and just see the qualifications for something of that role. Okay. Now, although you are sitting down at the desk, there is still a lot you get to learn just seeing the nurses move around, having them come up to you and ask questions. There may be things you don't know that you end up learning the rest of the day. So I would still say it's a great start and a great way to just get used to the environment and the busyness of a hospital. So next we have patient safety attendants. This is very different from a PCT, who is a technician. A PSA is a patient safety attendant who sits with the patient pretty much all shift, all 24 hours. And these are people who are there to observe mainly our suicide and behavioral patients. You guys would be surprised how many people come in on suicide precautions and just behavioral warnings, okay? There always sometimes needs to be someone in the room that can just watch them in case something happens or in case they just have an outburst that needs to be controlled and they need to redirect the patients. Yeah, and you do get paid for this. So it's not like you're just sitting there wasting your day. You're on the clock, baby girl, making that cash. So yes, these are people that will often be hired solely just to sit and monitor a patient who may be a threat to themselves or to others. I don't find this job all that exciting. However, in the hospital setting, you're constantly getting new people, you're constantly getting new patients to the point where you're gonna see something new every day. And that can keep you going, but not so much for me because that sitting around all day can really lead to leg issues and hip issues. And I just start feeling all sorts of nerves cramping up and I don't like that. Start feeling like I need my compression socks 10 times more, okay? I have been pulled to sit a couple of times and I would say, depending on the patient, it's been a smooth day. Sometimes it's been a rough day. And oftentimes if you have a very hectic patient who is constantly looking to come for you and the nurse, it goes by a lot faster because you next, you know, you got police in there and you got all sorts of people in there. But it is a position that can still expose you to the world of nursing and the reality of what these people are going through, okay? People that are going through withdrawals, people that are going through just home issues, and just expose you to what it's like to control them and be in that situation as a nurse. You're definitely gonna have people that are dealing with more than just their medical issues. So I still find it to be a great way to start getting used to that. So next we have being a hospital registrar. This is someone who you tend to meet somewhere in like the ED or like the women's service desk, or just coming straight into the hospital. These are people that will assist in admitting you, usually on a computer, just, you know, updating the charts, putting in the info, yada yada. They're going to be asking you for your personal information, to update your paperwork on your charts, to add stuff to your wristband, because everybody knows when you come in the hospital, you leave them with a wristband, okay, and maybe some meds. But they are definitely going to be uploading all this info into the charts for the nurses and the doctors that will be attending to you. So they just like to make sure that everything is on file. They'll ask you tons and tons of questions. I see these people usually in the ER when we have new patients, especially because the ER is just somewhere that constantly has new people coming in back to back to back. So it'd be a great way for you to get info on how charting systems work and just how busy it can be when you're having to ask so many different questions at once, and just ways in which you can learn to multitask as well. I know I'm not the quickest on the computer, but I can type, okay? And that's something. Everyone has different ways to like to chart things. So look into that if you're someone who also just likes to sit down and not do too much, but definitely just learn a few things here and there. Yeah. So the next job I have for you is patient transport. Patient transport are literally the first people the nurses are going to call when they need someone to get out the flow. Come pick them up, please. Patient transport is usually called when we're transferring a patient from one unit to the next or one facility to another. They usually just wait for someone to call them. These shifts vary depending on how the hospital is structured. I will say CNA, PCT, PSA, I've seen mainly work 12-hour shifts. Some people could even push it to 16-hour shifts if you like the money. Now, someone who's a patient transport, they probably don't need to be there the full 12 hours. They could probably work a 7 to 3 and call it a day and then switch off for 3 to 11. So a lot of these places, it just comes down to how the hospital works and the shifts you can pick up. These jobs are not meant to be stressful for you. These jobs are meant to be here to help you learn and gain experience, okay? So definitely take that into account in choosing one of these jobs, that you want to do something that you know you can manage according to your personality and your current life situation. I find this pretty interesting because they are constantly learning new ways in and about the hospital. So if you're someone who really likes to move and get active, then definitely look into this position. Next we have a nurse extern. Now nurse extern could pretty much fall into the same category of CNA, PCT, you know the drill, right? But nurse externs, they are a little bit above the PCT in which they can like take out Foleys, they can empty colostomies. I like to stay under my scope and do things that I know I am comfortable with. So I will usually call in the nurse for things like Foleys and colostomies, but these externs, they can usually help out with that. They can take out IVs, they can do a little bit more. Of course, with the permission of the nurse. And these are usually people that are most likely done with their first semester of nursing school, because they're not just going to throw you in there if you don't know what you're doing. Now, nurse extern looks great on the resume, so definitely think about this. If you are someone who's looking to advance from a PCT, you wouldn't have to take too many courses to really step it up, but let's say you probably have to be at least a senior nursing student for this. And then last but not least, we have your certified medical assistants. These are people I would say who are preferably looking to get more into the medical side of things, more so the nursing side of things, okay? These are people who work in your doctor's office mainly. They work in clinics. They are working full-time hours. Girl, they are Monday to Friday peeps, okay? CNAs, PCTs, you can find a job that gets you only 36 hours in 3 days, but these CMAs, certified medical assistants, they are Monday to Friday people, and they are working extensively. But they are usually preparing for medical school, PA school, things along that nature, and they are grabbing vital signs. They are usually just helping out with charting. They are sometimes giving injections. They do quite a bit under the doctor's help, and they are pretty much the doctor's assistant, whereas CNAs are like the nurse's assistant, you know, and all of the things that are hands-on. But being a CMA is also really cool because you do get the behind the scenes of like working to figure out a diagnosis and things like that. You can draw labs and just give shots, allergies. It's pretty cool stuff. So if you're someone who's looking to take the pre-med route, look into being a CMA or any of these really, because you'll get that hospital experience. Certifications can take quite a while. They can take about 4 to 8 months, or they can take up to a year depending on the program you're doing or the time in which you have to give to the program. Definitely say if you're someone who prefers to work in a low-key setting, somewhere that's not as busy as the hospital with so many and tons of patients all at once, definitely look into working in a clinic and getting your CMA license. I could not do it because I have gotten so accustomed to the 36-hour schedule, which I actually enjoy. But I know that some people are more comfortable working that Monday to Friday, where they feel like they can have their weekends and their evenings off. So all of these jobs come down to your personality, your style, what you're looking to pick up and learn. Healthcare is a very big umbrella that encompasses so many positions, so many opportunities. So definitely take your time, look into these jobs, think about what fits you, and think about where you're headed, where your goals are. I know for me, being a nursing student, that I'm really just looking to get the most experience that I can. And so far, I am learning quite a lot being a PCT. I have gotten to know so many of my nurses, and I have gotten to know so many just different protocols we take when a patient comes in, when a patient is being discharged. I have to go pick up the wheelchair, I have to collect their things together, you know, get the patient situated, take out their IVs. So there's quite a lot that I get to do, and that has really just helped me feel more confident in becoming a full-time nurse in the next few months. All right, my lovely friends, this video is coming to an end, and I just want to say thank you so much for clicking and watching. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Support this channel, support me, and make sure to follow all of my socials as well. Let me know what semester you're heading into as a nursing student. I'm so excited to share more with you guys about nursing and lifestyle in general, and I'm really starting to take nursing more outside of the hospital and implement it into my own life with my health and wellness. So that's something I really want to share with you guys as well. But if you found any of these guys interesting, then comment down below which one you think you want to apply to, and I could definitely help you get some insight into that. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Selena, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.